At the beginning, I want to apologize for the inconvenience of looking at my ugly face instead of watching some clips from the actual show looped in circles. As yeah, I'm also a watcher of videos like this and I know which one is way more appealing to the eye. But still, sorry for my laziness and lack of editing skills. Maybe in the future I'll improve, but for now we need to... you don't need to watch it. But if you decide to stay here and watch it, then I advise you turn the phone upside down and just listen to what I got to say if you want to know what I got to say. And what I've got to say you probably already know, more or less, because you probably clicked on it, reading the title and seeing the thumbnail. Which, well, yeah, I'll be talking about Rick and Morty and more specifically about the Season 9 stuff, what's happening. The Season 9 hasn't wrapped up yet. At the time of me recording this, there are 2 episodes left, and yeah, if I will not postpone uploading this video, then yeah, there are still 2 episodes left at the time of the upload. Yet still, I just think that I can come up with some conclusions and I've got stuff that I want to talk about. Also, if you dropped the show for some reason back in that day and haven't seen the last few seasons, as I know that there are a bunch of people like that, it's worth watching. It's worth picking it up. Maybe don't watch it, maybe don't listen to what I've got to say, just trust me that it's worth watching. Also, I don't know where it dropped, maybe it dropped around like season 3 or 4. It may not be the best all the time, I'm basically this on my memory, but I remember like watching season 5 or 6. The quality was inconsistent. Like, I was like, oh yeah, that's a very good episode, I really like it. And then I was like, maybe next one will be better. Oh yeah, that's fine. And just going like this, but I think from season to season, the quality has been improving and also getting way more consistent. I think the last few seasons, from season to season, it's been getting just more and more consistent and good in general. Also, I will classify Rick and Morty as semi-serialized series. I don't know if that's a professional term that, people are using, but to me, semi-serialized is, for example, Doctor Who or Adventure Time. Doctor Who is my favorite show of all time, I think, and Adventure Time is, I think, one of the best shows I've witnessed and also one of the best examples of a good semi-serialized show. And what I mean by that is a show where, on one hand, if something happens, it happens. The consequences stay. You don't get back to the status quo in the next episode. You don't press a big reset button after each episode so that you can destroy an entire city in one and in the next one you're just back to normal. But on the other hand, it's not like you need to watch everything to know what's going on. Like, the narrative isn't that tense. You can just know the basic formula of, like, for example, Doctor is probably going to go on some crazy adventure and find some aliens along the way. And yeah, it can be anywhere in space and time. It's probably usually going to be in Britain in the present time, but who knows? Maybe it's going to be a different galaxy 5,000 years from now. But still, probably mostly Britain. In terms of Adventure Time, Finn and Jake are going to go on a silly, more or less silly, goofy adventure most of the time. And sometimes we find an episode that will break this rule and you just look at it as like, and think to yourself like, what the fuck is going on? What if it is a mushroom war? What is that a baby Marceline? Where's Finn and Jake? Is that Ice King? But like, more sane? What's the fuck's going on? This is like my honest reaction where I've been scrolling through channels on TV and by accident happened to stumble into the middle of a Mushroom War episode. I was like, what the fuck's going on? There's like 50 episodes of Flow that I should have watched before this, but I didn't. What's going on? Sometimes there will be episodes like that. But for the most part, like, you can watch a random episode and you going to know more or less what's going on and be able to find some enjoyment in this. And Rick and Morty is similar. Like, you know what's going to happen. You don't need to watch everything to enjoy episode 5 of season 9. But if you know the whole story, you may appreciate it a bit more. Also, the character, maybe not much is changing in Rick and Morty, but I think the characters are changing. Characters are changing slowly, but they are, definitely. You cannot tell me, you can, but I think it will be wrong if you do that, that Morty will act the same way Morty from season 1 and Morty from season 9 will act the same way in every single situation. Or maybe Rick from season 1 and season 9. Like they will have very different reactions, approaches to a lot of things because they changed, because they grew. They they changed. Maybe not always grew. Well, mostly grew. But they changed. They are changing. And that's a good thing. Because it's keeping the show interesting. Like there are progression. And I think that's one of the best setups because the entire family is so fucked up. Like they have so much flaws, so many things to work on. So like if you want to have a long running series with semi-serialized plot, that's one of the best setups. We had so much things to go through, so many things to work on, so many ways of improving the characters and changing the characters in a positive direction. With that out of the way, season 9. That was a long introduction, if you can even call that. Yeah, that's just some. Never mind. Season 9. We had 8 episodes, and the main theme of it, I suppose, would be the relationship between the amazing duo we've got in Rick and Morty, our Rick and Morty, from, well, not the same Earth, but you know what I mean. With the main Rick and Morty that we followed throughout most of the show. And yeah, it seems more and more like it's building up to something big happening at the end of the season. At the time of recording, I think I already said that, but 2 episodes left, and at the time of upload, probably also 2 episodes left. So yeah, I think that something's big going to happen potentially. Also, somebody pointed out that there's a normally named episode, not named episode in a way that, uses Rick and Morty the title or somebody else from the family. Just normally named reference, which is weird. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if that's the first time. Maybe, but that's intense. Maybe it's the end of the show. Probably not, hopefully not, but who knows. And yeah, there is the plot line of the relationship between our 2 main protagonists, and I think we can also separate that into Rick's existential crisis and grief, and also Morty's, development and independence. Because, well, in the first episode, we start off with seeing the deeper. Also, somebody said that. I saw some takes that, it's getting repetitive. The season 9 especially is getting repetitive with the themes of the episodes, with the topics that it tackles. Like, it's again talking about Rick's grief and sadness and everything. I think he's doing it amazingly. I mean, the things that the characters are dealing with, that's not something that's... I mean, if you made some big changes to those things, those feelings, those thoughts, those dynamics in one episode, that would be a bit rushed. I'm not sure entirely to what it's building up, whether it's going to be them changing their ways, them splitting up. I think it's a great build-up. I think the repetitiveness shows how, the topic is tackled here and there, and it's leading to some changes. Maybe I'm just talking shit right now, which is quite possible, but never mind. First episode tackles the topic of the relationship with Evil Morty. Also, every single episode this season, pretty much, I think every single episode has at least one very good animation sequence. So, great congratulations to the animation team. Also, I mean, I just watched like a few days ago, I think, some scene from season 1 or 2, and I was like, oh shit, the animation was so different back then. Like, it's so much better now. I didn't realize how much it improved all 3 years. But never mind. Congrats to the animation team. Probably none of them is watching this, but congrats. And yeah, episode 1 focuses on the relationship between them. We've got Evil Morty and our Morty is a bit jealous of Evil Morty. But at the end, we see that Rick values our Morty definitely, and also likes Evil Morty. They both like each other. Both him and Evil Morty like each other. Toxic relationship. Every Rick and Morty has toxic relationship with each other, it seems. But yeah, we got that. It's more on the positive side of building the bond between them with how it ends. Then we've got the episode about Rick's grief and how he's not doing that well with him grieving, him finding purpose, meaning in life. I mean, he's doing fine. I think the way that he has this way of escaping is not the healthiest, but it is something. Questionable. But we also can see in that episode that Morty is capable. That's another showcase of Morty being way more capable than he was at the beginning of the series. Then in episode 3, we've got, I would say, a bit more light-hearted episodes in terms of their development and their interactions. But definitely, I mean, we can see that Rick is engaging with some simple things just to prove himself. We can see his pettiness, but also the fact that he's more or less enjoying this. Like, he's enjoying this. Like, he seems to be happy more often in this season, I suppose. He seems to be also way more indulging into drunkenness sometimes, but there are moments of happiness for him, in my opinion. He's slowly improving. It takes time, but I think he's slowly improving. And also, as for Morty, well, yeah, I think the relationship again here showcased in a positive way, as they are bonding with each other way better. And then we've got a switch up in the 4th episode as we see a betrayal. First of all, big betrayal for Morty from Rick with the fake friend that he's using to get the password, and also, I mean, Rick's drunkenness, Rick's drinking problem, and yeah, the very toxic part of this relationship, and how Morty is getting sick of it, and how they are bound to each other, how they are affecting each other and everything. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think I am. The next episode is, as for the relationship, first of all, we see very much more of Morty's independence, as the episode with the pet dog coming back. I don't remember the name right now, but we see way more of Morty's independence and way more of him being like Rick. Like, that is more of Rick behavior that he exudes in there, with Morty infused in it. Like, it's quite far from Morty from season 1, in my opinion. It's way more like Morty's personality infused with Rick's behavior in this episode, if you get what I mean. And then at the beginning we see Rick being proud of Morty, but still treating him somewhat like a dog. And because it all was about pets and dogs, and he's like, oh, goodbye. Yeah, something like this. Smart writing. And also, Rick seemed to be quite enjoying himself throughout the B plot of the episode. And then we had 6th episode, which was, my gosh, it was amazing. And spore references, evolution references, great. And also, Rick was very invested into Morty's journey and development of, like, becoming a plant and everything. Like, he was watching him, he was very proud of him. He also was just happy that the tree turned out to be an asshole, but he was very proud of Morty. He was very proud of Morty, but he was very proud of his thinking, and that's something that Rick probably wouldn't have thought of. That was Morty's personality speaking, and it became the solution, and he just went with his idea. Like, they were like equals. There are way more episodes currently where they are becoming more like equals, or maybe even like the Morty isn't beyond Rick. They more seem like partners in terms of, like, how capable they are, or how they behave in certain situations. Maybe Morty is seen taking more charge in this season in general than Rick, which is crazy to think about. Then after this 6th episode, which was amazing, the whole plotline, and again in terms of relationship, Morty's creativity, the way that he thinks differently, the way that he operates differently, that was a very good episode after the 5th one, to show that, okay, he may be becoming like Rick. There may be an influence of Rick in his behaviors, and his adventures with Rick definitely influence his behaviors, but also he's still himself, and he's got his own way of thinking and everything. And then in episode 7, which, my gosh, I forgot what episode 7 was about. Was it 3 episode 7? Gosh. 5, 4, 5, 6, 7? we had a betrayal. The empath is the 8th. The 7 was the evolution. What episode am I missing? We had... Huh? Huh? First one, third one was Kung Fu, fourth one was the fake friend, fifth one was with dogs, sixth... Yeah, I remember! The episode before, it was with Rick's head and the body getting separated. We saw more of, first of all, Morty being... We saw... First of all, we saw Rick being happy. We saw Rick being happy and trying to be happy. Trying to get more into indulging himself into normal actions and finding happiness in that. And he somewhat succeeded. We also saw that how... Yeah, the grief is toxic to both his mind and body, and it's not working the best for them. But maybe he learned something from it. It didn't seem like much, but maybe he did something. Learned something, at least. Also, yeah, again, Morty taking charge in a lot of ways. And them becoming, that was a very good episode. Also, again, showing Rick's grief and Rick's problems and everything. Then we've had 8th episode, which is the one that's maybe made this video, because we saw a big emphasis on their relationship. We saw a big emphasis on who they are and everything. Rick, at the beginning, said that, oh yeah, you are the reason of all the sadness in my life. First of all, we saw him enjoying himself, which is great. Morty broke his liquor making factory and everything. Then, there was this whole plot with, okay, getting to the vegetable, fruit, whatever it was, potato, I think, space potato. And then, Morty took the empath. Then it ate all of his empathy. And based on the preview for the 9th episode, he's going to stay that way. Like, there will be consequences. It's not going to be reset. Like, he will be lacking empathy from now on, at least for a bit. Which is going to be interesting. But, with that out of the way, my thoughts, because I am watching analysis of those episodes. I like to watch those. And something that I didn't see mentioned, because somebody mentioned that, oh yeah, so Rick got rid of the empath died in his head because of, maybe he has hallucinated that was one of the options, as a reference to the movie that it's referencing in the title. But the other version also was that, oh yeah, it died because, he didn't really had much of empathy in the beginning, so like, it died of starvation. But it didn't seem like it. Like, at the end, he drank whatever he produced, and it seemed like it took it out of him, like it poisoned it. So maybe I'm stretching, maybe I'm reaching, and I probably am, but to me it seemed like the thing he drank was the specific poison for the sympathoid, the thing. And, he used it on Morty initially, but he had it prepared there for a reason. I don't think he had it prepared for Morty initially. I think he just used it because it was there. In all honesty, I think that is another proof of him changing. How, he prepared it for himself. And first of all, he wanted to do them himself so that he will be able to be more empathetic to Morty and people around him. And then use the liquor or the beverage to get rid of it. And I think that was his original idea. But, since Morty broke the factory, he got tangled into the whole thing and everything. Yeah, this video is long, it's like 20 minutes, and I've been mostly yapping about nonsense, and pretty much the whole reason why I wanted to make it was this one sentence that at the end. I thought that, oh yeah, he intentionally wanted to inject the sympathoid, the parasite, into himself so that he will be nicer to Morty and people around him. Yet, since, Morty broke his factory, he got tangled into this, and he was like, okay, it's already sitting here, I can use it on Morty, so it's going to be more helpful to get a potato, and he decided to do it. But I thought that initially he really wanted to use them himself. It just clicked to me that that's the idea, and that it is stuff in his head instead, like, because it came out seemingly burning immediately after he drank whatever he drank. So I was like, yeah, he was probably wanting to do them himself and making the antidote for it. Does it make sense? Hopefully. If you've been listening to that for 20 minutes, well, that's an interesting decision that you made in your life. But I'm somewhat glad you did. I hope you enjoyed it at least. Bye.